Welcome everyone to 284 News. My name is Javon Wilson.
I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant.
And we are so thrilled and happy to be coming to you live out of the beautiful British Virgin Islands. The content continues via our website, 284media.com.
In today's news, partially vaccinated staff and patrons now allowed to enter nightclubs once in possession of a negative result from rapid tests, and they must also provide identification to support claim.
Mr. Coy Levons has been appointed Director of Civil Aviation.
And the Attorney General criticizes the Commissioner of Inquiry for disclosing confidential cabinet documents without consent and for ambushing Minister Vincent Wheatley.
Know Your Worth for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, which is observed in October. We have all the details of this and so much more after a word from our sponsors. You're watching 284 News.
You value traditions. You value music. You value education. Family.
I love you.
Service.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
Well, welcome back everyone. It's Friday, October 1st, 2021. I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant. We're coming to you live and direct from the beautiful British Virgin Islands. Lots going on. A happy Friday to each and every one of you. Before we get into our newscast, a few headlines that are of paramount importance. Overdue taxes will be deducted for government's contractors in bad standing. And the cabinet defers tourist bubble plan yet again as new cruise season looms. Low scores on culture tests unlikely to prevent belongership, says Penn, and taxi and livery being given greater powers to become body corporate. Orlandit R. Crabb has been appointed as the Deputy Chief Education Officer.
And viewers, we start with news from last night's press conference where partially vaccinated residents once in possession of a negative rapid antigen test will now be allowed to access nightclubs throughout the British Virgin Islands. Well, this was revealed by Minister for Health Carvin Malone, who made an announcement during a press conference on the night of Thursday, September 30th. Well, Minister Malone said that following a meeting with club owners across the territory, the cabinet decided to approve access to partially vaccinated persons who are in possession of a negative rapid test, which must have been no older than 7 days. Well, he said in addition to the negative test result, all persons will also have to provide valid proof of their vaccination. We'll take a listen.
Cabinet has decided that fully vaccinated staff and patrons of nightclubs be required to provide identification and proof of vaccination. Following representation by club owners and the particular association, Cabinet decided that partially vaccinated staff and patrons at nightclubs be required to provide the negative results of a rapid test no later than 7 days or no older than 7 days, meaning that if you have taken the first vaccine and if you are to take a rapid test within a 7-day period or during a 7-day period, you can present this for entry.
Well, viewers, that was the Minister for Health, Honorable Carvin Malone. Or Ron, I believe this will be somewhat of an incentive for those persons who love to frequent nightclubs to get vaccinated.
We will see if that improves our vaccination rate. Continuing on the local scene, Mr. Coy Levons has been appointed Director of Civil Aviation within the Ministry of Transportation, Works and Utilities effective September 6, 2021. Now, Mr. Levons' appointment comes following the approval of His Excellency the Governor, Mr. John Ranking, in accordance, of course, with Section 92 of the Virgin Islands Constitution Order 2007 and on the advice of the Public Service Commission. As Director of Civil Aviation, Mr. Levons will undertake the overall management of the Department of Civil Aviation and provide oversight through a system of inspecting, investigating, maintaining, monitoring, coordinating, licensing, and regulating all civil aviation activities within the Virgin Islands in accordance with the applicable ICAO annexes and civil aviation legislation. He will also develop a succession plan for the Civil Aviation Department, streamline and improve his internal processes, and act as a public and private sector interface necessary for its continued effectiveness. Minister for Transportation, Works and Utilities, the Honorable Kai Reimer and District 5 representative, said, and I quote, "I am pleased that we have, through the established hiring process, brought on board Mr. Coy Levons, who will serve as the Territory's Director of Civil Aviation. Mr. Levons," he said, "brings the technical and academic training, and I am looking forward to working with him in advancing the department's mandate." Mr. Levons is a commercial airline pilot who holds an associate's degree in legal studies from the University of the West Indies Extended Campus in the Virgin Islands, a Bachelor of Business Administration, master's degree in aeronautical science and aviation from Embry-Riddle University. He has also served as the BVI Airports Authority Duty Manager from 2006 to 2010, Director of Operations from 2010 to 2019, before transitioning to the position of Managing Director within the same year. The highly qualified Mr. Coy Levons, congratulations to him. We wish him all the best.
Well, indeed. Well, viewers, up next, the Attorney General criticizes the Commissioner of Inquiry for disclosing confidential cabinet documents without consent and for ambushing minister. Also, she said that the belonger status was not approved for convict and know your worth for domestic violence awareness. We get to these and more stories when 284 News returns. Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, the Attorney General, Dawn Smith, has expressed her discontent with the manner of which Minister for Labour and Immigration Vincent Whitley was treated at a recent Commission of Inquiry hearing. Well, the Attorney General's concerns were raised in a letter penned to the Commissioner of Inquiries to Gary Hickenbottom, dated Thursday, September 30th. Viewers, take a listen. The letter specifically addressed the oral examination of Minister Vincent Whitley during his COI hearing on Tuesday, September 28th, which revealed sensitive information regarding the approval of belongership status to a previously convicted rapist. But this letter was attached in a media release from the Attorney General's chambers, which denounced such claims that the VIP government did approve any such belongership status to a convicted person. What the AG chamber said, and I quote, "Well, no application for belonger status was granted by the Cabinet in the two cases it discussed in November 2019, nor since. Indeed, in one of the two cases, the discussion was about a person whose belonger status was granted long ago and years before a subsequent conviction for a serious offense." End quote. Well, in the letter addressed to Sir Hickenbottom, A.G. Smith described the conduct of the hearing as wholly avoidable, creating a misleading impression of the true situation and damaging to the public interest. Well, she said, and I quote, "I say avoidable because the matter appears to have been raised in a manner that not only violated your own protocols and essential assurances on which confidential government documents are disclosed to you, but also prevented the minister from being able to present the facts of a matter that was bound to be of acute public concern." End quote. Well, A.G. Smith also criticized the COI's team for disclosing confidential content from the Cabinet's minutes without first seeking permission of consent from the Cabinet, a protocol she said was agreed to by the COI, which she said was breached. Well, she said, and I quote, "Well, the minute is a Cabinet document which attracts Cabinet confidentiality under the vital public interest and constitutional principle of collective ministerial responsibility. Well, those I represent disclose the minute voluntarily to the COI team alone on an expressly confidential basis and in the reliance of the assurances given in the COI protocols of the safeguard provided by the two-stage disclosure process. At various times during the inquiry, the Cabinet has provided consent for otherwise confidential documents to be used at public hearings. However, at no stage between its disclosure on 16 March 2021 and the hearing on 28 September 2021 did the Cabinet give such consent in relation to the minute, end quote. The Attorney General also highlighted that the Solicitor General was not given the time to verify if whether consent was given to disclose Cabinet minutes to the public, and she also said that Counsel Bilal Roa neither drew to the Commissioner's attention that such privilege was not granted by Cabinet. The AG said, and I quote, "Well, she was not afforded the opportunity to make submissions on whether on balance the public interest in public disclosure outweighed Cabinet confidentiality or even provided with a copy of the minute. I would be most grateful if you would confirm whether a decision was made to use the confidential minute at a public hearing without first discussing it with the IRU or whether the unauthorized use was accidental," end quote. Well, AG Smith also emphasized the damaging nature of the hearing to the minister and his government, which he said mainly resulted from the failure of the COI to brief the minister on the subject matter prior to the hearing date. Well, she said this would have allowed Minister Wheatley to prepare factual information for submission to the COI instead of what resulted with the minister having no time to fact-check his statements. Well, she said, and I quote, "The lack of notice to me and to the minister as to the use of his confidential cabinet minute and of the criticisms made in respect of these matters denied him the opportunity to check the facts and remind himself that the individuals had either not been granted belonger status or were not under consideration for belonger status at the time. This means that a false impression has been created, as can be seen in social media posts on this subject, that these persons have indeed been granted belonger status by the current government," end quote. The Attorney General added that these revelations have prejudiced the rights to privacy and administrative fairness of the individuals and victims concerned, which she believes should have been the predictable conclusion of any responsible reflection on the subject matter. What she said being that the BVI is a small, close-knit society, personal references are easily identified, and the resulting uproar will have caused unnecessary, acute, and deep distress to the families of the persons concerned, end quote. Well, AG Smith therefore asked for the assurance of the Commissioner and his team not to use or disclose to the public in future hearings information relating to Cabinet papers without first notifying members of Cabinet and gaining their consent. Well, viewers, that was a summarized version of the Attorney General's letter penned to Sir Gary Hickenbottom. And what I would say is that following her response to the Commissioner of Inquiry, a lot of persons would have been a little bit somewhat confused following. Obviously, we would have seen the statements from the minister during his hearing. You know,
Correct.
obviously directly responding to the questions posed. And now to hear that this information that he would have said is somewhat inaccurate due to the fact that he was not briefed, a lot of persons were somewhat confused and questioning which of the stories are
Is
correct.
accurate, exactly.
So I really do hope that we do get to the bottom of this. And she did deny that the government did approve any such belongership to such a convict.
All right, we'll continue to follow that story, of course. Moving on, Gender Affairs Coordinator Ms. Atara Sue Morgan has explained that the theme Know Your Worth for Domestic Violence Awareness Month is a call for persons to advocate for the love that they deserve. The Office of Gender Affairs is leading this year's advocacy activity with continued support and participation from community groups and social advocacy organizations such as Zonta and the Family Support Network. Ms. Morgan continued by saying, "Your worth could never be determined by others. People not giving you the love that you deserve is always their loss, and so this theme sends a message that you don't need to prove yourself to anyone in order to deserve love." Now, the Gender Affairs Coordinator said as everyone learns to live in this COVID-19 era, it is a fact that more persons are at home together, and that can lead to more instances of unreported altercations and abuse. She continued by saying, because of this year's theme, Know Your Worth, we want to also ensure that persons get the help they need during these uncertain times. Domestic Violence Awareness Month is observed in the month of October, and residents are encouraged to contact the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, dialing 311 should they or anyone else be in immediate danger due to domestic violence and altercations. Additionally, emergency contacts for persons in need are the Family and Juvenile Unit in the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force at 346-7963 and the Social Development Department at 468-9371. Of course, the Dr. D. Orlando Smith Hospital at 464-3497. Domestic Violence Awareness Month is an international observance geared at really creating community awareness of the social and personal impacts of domestic violence and family violence as well. The Ministry of Social Development, Health as well, really aspires to provide a caring and integrated system of health that protects and facilitates human development and quality of life in the British Virgin Islands. Viewers, we have so much more, but up next, Speaker Willock ordered by the Supreme Court to pay a legal bill which could amount to more than $120,000. And October is Spina Bifida Awareness Month. We got so much more in store for you. All this and so much more after a word from our sponsors. You're watching 284 News.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, Speaker of the House of Assembly, Julian Willock, has been ordered by the Eastern Caribbean Supreme High Court to pay the legal fees of his defendants in his discontinued injunction case, which was filed against the three Commissioner of Inquiries, and his three attorneys. Well, the judgment was handed down by the Justice Adrian Jack on Thursday, September 30th, where Speaker Willock could pay more than $120,000 once an assessment of the total fees has been completed. Viewers, take a listen. The legal fees submitted by the Attorney General totaled $6,084, while the bill for the Commission of Inquiry, Sir Gary Hickenbottom, along with his attorneys Bilal Rurat, Rhea Harrick-Soon, and Andrew King, totaled $115,348.50. Well, prior to Justice Adrian Jack's ruling, Speaker Julian Willock's attorneys were directed to submit evidence that supported their claims that the legal fees should be the responsibility of the BVI government, since they stated that Willock was acting in his capacity of Speaker of the House of Assembly. Well, senior partner at Silk Legal Richard Rowe and Speaker Willock both submitted affidavits which spoke to the contract between Willock, the BVI government, and Silk Legal. Well, Justice Jack, following the assessment of their affidavit, said that there seemed to be no basis on which legal professional privilege could properly be claimed in respect of the contracts of retainer, and he secured a copy of the original contract for himself. Well, according to the published document, the contract in its beginning stated, and I quote, "Silk Legal BVI Inc. thanks you, Mr. Julian Willock, Speaker of the House of Assembly, on behalf of the Government of the Virgin Islands, for your instructions. The client is Mr. Julian Willock, Speaker of the House of Assembly, Virgin Islands, acting on behalf of the Government of the Virgin Islands," end quote. Well, Justice Jack said that the contract painted a very different picture than what both Attorney Rowe and Willock submitted, stating that Willock was acting on behalf of the BVI government. That meant the client was the BVI government. Well, the judge said Willock was an agent acting on behalf of an undisclosed principal. Well, he said, and I quote, "Well, the contract was never signed by Mr. Willock. The only signatories were Mr. Rowe and Mr. Foy. Well, this reflects what, in my judgment, is the true position, namely that the government of the Virgin Islands was the client," end quote. Well, Justice Jack also highlighted another critical point, which was submitted by the defendant's counsel, which stated that the contract retainer of the Speaker did not cover the litigation of the injunction matter. Well, according to the court document, it said that Clause 7.4 only covered litigation if any aspect of the COI work reaches a court of law as it related to the aforesaid members in their official capacity. Justice Jack said the injunction action had no connection with members of the House of Assembly at all, stating that it is an action to prevent the three COI lawyers from continuing to act. Well, Justice Jack also pointed to other parts of the contract which stated that Silk Legal's work was to be assisting the Attorney General with legal representation, but only in forms that the Honorable Attorney General approves and considers necessary. He said in the current case, the Attorney General did not approve Silk Legal's actions, therefore stating that Clause 7.4 of the retainer, which dated May 28, 2021, did not, in his judgment, cover Silk Legal's work in the injunction matter. Well, Justice Jack said he will assess the cost submitted by the Attorney General at the $6,084 figure, while Willock's attorney from Silk Legal, Daniel Davies, asked for time to assess the COI submission, which had significantly increased from the $71,388.59 figure, which was submitted earlier in September. Justice Jack therefore directed Davies to serve his points of dispute by close of business on October 5th and stated that his response will be forthcoming by October 8th. He also said an agreement was reached between all parties that the assessment of costs will be done on paper without a further hearing. Well, viewers, that was a comprehensive summary of the breakdown from the ruling of Justice Adrian Jack on the Speaker of the House, Julian Willock, who will obviously have to pay somewhat of a close figure around $120,000 based off the once the assessment is completed from Justice Jack.
Continuing on, 1 year ago, Ms. Zubaida O'Neill shared her personal story of raising a daughter with spina bifida. For many of us, this was the very first time we were hearing about this disability. However, her story brought love and light to the cause. The small yet impactful awareness campaign has helped to shed light on the congenital disability. 1 year later, Ms. O'Neill, along with others, have officially formed the Spina Bifida organization here in the British Virgin Islands, which is observed in the month of October. This year, the organization has officially become a non-profit organization titled For Spina Bifida. The name alone signifies who and what the organization represents. Earlier today, I sat down with 3 members of the newly formed non-profit organization. Take a look. Viewers, welcome back. As promised, I am joined by Ms. Zubaida O'Neill, who is the president of the Spina Bifida organization, Ms. Telka Hodge, a member, and Ms. Akima Brooks, public relations officer. Ladies, thank you so much for your time and welcome back to 284 Media.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Of course. Now, Zubaida, I want to begin, for those who may not still be aware, begin by sharing exactly what Spina Bifida is and its effects on an individual.
All right, spina bifida is a neural tube birth defect. It actually means open spine or having your spine being outside of your body. So basically, Zaya was born with her spine outside of her body in the tube or covering that keeps your spine safe. Usually, everyone is born with their spine inside. Spina bifida comes along with many other disabilities. It caused her to have hydrocephalus, water on the brain. It can affect your ability to walk depending on the type of spina bifida that you have. So she has myelomelancholy, and that's the most severe version of spina bifida. So with that, you have bowel issues and also bladder issues, as well as seizures, staring, mobility issues as well.
Understand. And while we are on Zaya, can you please give us an update on your beautiful daughter?
Okay, the last time I was here, we were going away to get the braces for her feet to see the possibility of her being able to stand and walk. We've since been back to the doctors in Atlanta, and upon our last visit, it wasn't the news that I expected. So basically they told us that she won't be able to walk. So I would have to start choosing wheelchairs for my daughter. Also, she was to do corrective surgery on her bladder because her bladder is so tiny. It doesn't hold pee long enough, and then it doesn't retract. Your bladder is a muscle.
Yes.
So it doesn't hold the pee, and when it holds the pee, it holds a little bit, and then it runs over. So all the time we're thinking that she was peeing, and she was not. It was just leaking. So with that being said, that was actually my alarm to go and do her draining of her bladder.
Wow.
for every 6 hours, we do that. So I leave my job or I leave whatever I'm doing at 12 o'clock. Every day I drain her bladder because her bladder cannot hold pee like you and I. You know what it feels like when you want to pee.
Of course.
So she doesn't have that sensation at all. So I have to be the one responsible for draining that at 6 a.m., 12 p.m., 6 p.m., and 12 a.m. So she's basically attached to me. Apart from that, Zaya is the most happiest child. She is intelligent. She's very feisty, somewhat like me.
I wonder where she got that from.
Very, very feisty. So I use the positives to help me deal with all the negatives. But I think that even though we feel like we're going backwards, each day we're still taking a stride forward because she's trying her best to stand with the help of the braces. But that will have to be with continued therapy. And that in itself is a bit challenging in Tortola because, you know, we can't get to therapies as we would like to every day. But this update is basically very sad for me because I don't like having to speak on her on those terms, but I feel the need to let you know where we are since I decided to open up to you guys last year.
That was the lovely Miss Zubaida O'Neill along with Miss Hodge and Miss Brooks, members of the Spina Bifida nonprofit organization that has been newly formed. Now, viewers, to view the entire interview, you can visit our website as well as our Facebook page.
And viewers, moving to our final story for the day, where the finals of the BVI Basketball Federation's 2021 District League competition will kick off this evening at a multi-purpose sports complex facility in Roadtown. While in the junior division, VG Bayside Blazers will be taking on skillful ballers in the first game of the 5-game series at 6:30 p.m. While in the senior division, VG Bayside Blazers will be up against District 4's A's at 8:30 p.m. Or to get to the finals, the junior VG Bayside Blazers team defeated junior East Rockers in the final game of that 3-game series, 73-69, with Nikel Stevens leading with a game-high 21 points. Where junior skillful ballers defeated Zone 6 Bayview 75-72 in the final game of their series, with Len Creek Austri enjoying a team-high double-double of 17 points and 12 rebounds in that victory. But meanwhile, for the men's, VG Bayside Blazers demolished District 1's Guns to reach the final with a 112-47 victory, with Kilvin Samuel enjoyed a team-high 16 points in that match. And District 4 A's, they defeated the 2nd District's Mega Mits, winning that final game 85-80. And Shaquem Blackmore was the star of that match with a game-high 27 points. And Game 2 and 3 of the finals will also be played over the weekend. So we will obviously have a very jam-packed weekend of activities. Well, on Saturday, the finals will play on Virgin Gorda, with the juniors set to play at 7:30 p.m. and the seniors at 9 p.m. Well, back on Sunday, we'll be back here on Tortola, where the finals will play at the multi-purpose sports complex once again, with that junior game at 6:30 p.m. And the men's game at 8:30 p.m. Viewers, you can come along to those games. We take the admissions between $5 to $10 for juniors and adults, and obviously the protocols are still in effect. You know, obviously you have to wear your mask, social distance, but most importantly, is just to come out and enjoy yourself and support your district, support your team, as we all support sports in the territory.
Kamal, I think it's very important for persons to come out and support these young people as they participate. There was a time when we were unable to meet and have sporting activities and events. So now that we are moving towards some level of normalcy, I think it's exciting, and I encourage persons to come out and support. Viewers, before we go, there are a number of interviews that took place earlier today. We encourage you to tune in over the weekend. Of course, World Food Day is coming up, and World Mental Health Day is on October 8th. That was interviewed as well today. Lots of content on our website as well as our Facebook page. That's all the time we have today. I'm Ron Grant.
And I'm Kamal Haynes. Viewers, thank you for joining us. Please have a good weekend and stay safe and stay out of trouble.
Bye-bye.